This is Karita Parks at the Under Armour Performance Center, where the Baltimore Ravens are preparing for week 2 of NFL action against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this is a divisional matchup, so everyone knows how important it is. And in the past 3 games against the Bengals, the Ravens have lost in Cincinnati, but they have also been without Lamar Jackson. Spoke to him today, and he is really excited to be on the field this Sunday to have the opportunity to lead his team to victory. With the injuries that were sustained on Sunday, many of those will still impact the team. On that offensive line, they'll be without offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley, as well as center Tyler Linderbaum. On the defensive side, safety Marcus Williams is out, and as we have expected for the past couple of weeks, Marlon Humphrey will also be out. So it's really next man up mentality around here. And one of those guys is Gus Edwards. Spoke to him as well after practice, and he said that he prepares every week like he's going to get a lot of snaps. So we can expect to see him and Justice Hill sharing most of the load on Sunday. Defensively, as always, these guys are ready to go. They know what they're up against with Joe Burrow, and they're just preparing like they would every single week for their opponent. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how the Ravens bounce back. They weren't exactly pleased with how they played last week, even though they got the win. So for more Ravens content, make sure that you stay tuned to Bowie Television. We'll have all of your updates throughout the week and after the game. This is Karita Parks.
AFC North play our first game against our divisional rival in their stadium. We've been there lately a few times, so I'm kind of comfortable with the locker room and whatnot. But we're looking forward to it, and we're preparing as such. What questions do you have?
John, you mentioned about being there. I mean, it wasn't too long ago in that playoff game, that tough playoff loss. Do they have any lingering feelings when it's been so close, from that last game, that last trip from that?
I'm you remember stuff. I mean, certainly it's on. It's there. It wasn't that long ago, but it wouldn't matter if it was 10 years ago. You remember everything in football. So they won the game. They played better at the end, made the plays they had to make. But that's history, and we're moving forward.
Did you guys feel like you took a lot of good from that game as well, and that you sort of outplayed and not hit them for? Yeah.
John, just following up on Monday, any update on Marcus Williams' decision?
Yeah, they're working through all the dynamics of that right now, so that's where we're at. All those guys just kind of see where we go. I'll be on the injury report for you.
Mark moving closer to being ready.
As I just said so graciously, I just mentioned, refer to the injury report. He was out there practicing.
That's why.
There you go. Hence your answer.
Losing JK, I know it's next man up, and I know some of you guys have been in this position before. But does it alter things for you in some sense, and as much as you can tell us anyway? How's it?
We don't have JK. That's disappointing. He's a great player. He's a great guy. And obviously, anytime you have a player like that on your roster, that's a big deal. He's an explosive athlete, ball carrier, receiver. But I'm very confident the guys we have stepping in there as well. We have very good players stepping in, and they're excited for their opportunity.
I think with the switch of coordinators, there's some question as to Patrick Ricard, what his role would be in the New Orleans. You guys used him, I think, on 24 snaps. What does he represent for this team, and why do you think he's able to find fits, even though it's obviously moving in a different direction than the season past?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good football player, and you have a good football player on your team, you definitely want to use him, you know. So how many plays it is from week to week, I think it won't be like the same. It'll be whatever it is that week based on whatever's going on. But he's a good football player. He brings what he brings. You know what he brings. I mean, you see it every day when you watch him play, right? And it's effective. It's meaningful reps when he's out there doing what he does well. So I'm very happy to have him on our team.
John, I think training camp is noticeable that how he's a little more vocal, that he's more comfortable communicating. How much do you have to lean on him now with Marcus potentially missing some time, and just how much does it help that he's kind of taken more of that communication leadership role?
Right. I mean, he's had a great camp. He's done everything that he's been asked to do in different roles. You know, position-wise, moving around. He's still capable of doing that. We still have all those options at our disposal that the guys are putting out there. And yeah, I'm sure he'll be very vocal, but he was before, you know. So that's the way we'll roll.
Talking about Zay Flowers, he looked like he's been in the league for a long time. He's always, his vision being there, always hungry for the game. How good is this for his development?
Well, I mean, you know, he's chomping at the bit to get out there and to show what he can do. He made the big catch over the middle into the red zone. Had, you know, a lot of really good blocks. He was running routes fast. I was happy for him, you know. So he's just going to build off of that 100%. And he's going to have a lot of great days in front of him.
What kind of a challenge did you go against the Bengals offense? That I mean, they're three wide receivers, legitimate ones, you know, Chase, Higgins, and
yeah, and we're very familiar with their talent. I mean, they've had a very talented offense, obviously. Got a great back, got a great quarterback. You know, so we played them a lot. They played us a lot. We're very familiar with one of them.
I mean, they obviously did not play up to their standards in their opener against Cleveland. I mean, do you throw that out to some degree and assume that they'll be the team that you've seen in past years, or how do you treat that first game?
We're playing. We know how good they are.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to play the game that's going to be played this week, not the one that was played last week by either team. Same thing goes for us. I mean, we never stay the same. So we're getting ready for next week. I'm sure they're doing the same.
John, you mentioned after the game about the pass rush that there was a lot of talk about before season, but I'm assuming you were pleased with what you saw Sunday. Can you talk about, I guess, what you saw and moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, I saw exactly what I told you we would see. You know, and then those guys were bringing it, so it was exciting and fun. And you know, we got a new challenge in front of us this week. And you know, we got to get better. Those guys are determined to keep getting better. And you know, obviously, pass rush, pressure, sacks, hurries, batted balls. Those are very important aspects of pass defense in the National Football League. So I like the way they played. We got to get better. Keep getting better. John.
you know, with respect to the Bengals, also defense. What's the challenge? What's the difficulty? Obviously, you've got some guys banged up on the offensive line in terms of dealing with their pass rush. Pretty thin teams around the league, just in general, with guys with injuries. Just maybe describe the challenge of what that is, particularly against them.
Yeah, I mean the challenge is the guys. You know, that is football, and that's why guys, as we spoke about last week, are on the roster. You know, they're starting caliber players, or they wouldn't be, in the league the way I look at it, especially on this team. So those guys are ready to roll, man. They're going to go out there and play, and we respect their pass rush, we respect their run defense, we respect everything. It's our job to go out there and do our job. You know, and our guys are looking forward to the opportunity to do that.
John, last one here. John, the Bengals have a very similar team to last year, but they got two new starters at safety, Cam Taylor-Britt, second-year player corner. What did you see from them in their season opener?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing the same defense. They're filling the roles that have been built into the defense. They did a nice job doing that. You know, obviously the Hill kid, we got a little knowledge of. He's kind of familiar with the family there. You know, it's a good family. So, they're good players, and they're in that defense. They're doing what the defense asked them to do, and I thought they had a good start.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
You mentioned that you were a little rusty last game. Since you didn't play a preseason, and now you completed first, week one. How do you feel as of now, looking towards Cincinnati?
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. Just the three mishaps during the game. That's what I felt I was rusty at. But other than that, I felt I was doing pretty good.
Lamar, it's been a couple of years since you've been able to go and play in Cincinnati. How tough was it watching your players, play without you, and how excited are you about being there for them, in this game?
Very tough. One, I was injured. Two, I wasn't able to travel with my guys and support them. And just being out of the game, that's not something I want to do ever again. But just going back to Cincinnati, great atmosphere, great crowd. I got some of the Louisville guys in the area and stuff like that. So it was great support from the Raven fan base in Louisville. So it was great to be there.
Lamar, can you recreate what it was like in your house last year when you're watching that last game? Your guys are on the goal line, and then all of a sudden you see Sam Hubbard going the other way with the ball.
I'd rather not because we lost that game. But I was watching the game. We was doing pretty good, and I feel like it was my fault a little bit because I had to go use the restroom, get up, and by the time I'm walking to the bathroom, I'm hearing cheers. I'm like, what happened? What happened? I look, and 94 running the other way. So I almost hit my screen, but it is what it is.
Lamar, obviously you guys are shifting the offense this year, but Pat Ricard still has a role here and played almost half the snaps on Sunday. What do you think he represents for this offense, and how do you feel when he kind of lines up behind you on the field?
Pancake Pat, man, that name just fits him. He got land people out doing pancakes and stuff like that. Catching the ball sometimes out the backfield, running routes sometimes. Pat missed to do it all. And he helps our offense out a lot.
Lamar, do you feel like almost like you haven't been able to give the team, I mean not just you, but the team hasn't been able to give the Bengals your best shot these last couple of years down the stretch because of the various injury situations and all that?
Yeah, I believe so. But that just happens in football. It just happened to happen every time we play them. We have a lot of injuries. Key guys go down versus them. But there's no excuses. We all got guys in the NFL, who's getting paid to bust their behind. So it is what it is.
Lamar, how tough is it going to be for this weekend? When you don't have JK, and Ronnie isn't practicing, Linderbaum's not practicing. How tough is it when you don't have those key players?
It's tough, just because they're key players. But we got guys who want to step up, and lead us, out down that field and do what they're supposed to do.
You talked about JK. Obviously it's a tough loss. What did Justice and Gus bring that's maybe different than what JK presents as a challenge?
All three of those guys is different, period. But those guys also is explosive as well, just like JK, and they're gonna go out there and do what they're supposed to do to help us win games.
And Lamar, when it comes to the center in particular, that's a pretty important exchange from him to you.
Absolutely.
How is that? Is it going to take some time to get used to that with someone who's not tired?
We started practice, just practicing and getting extra reps, getting extra snaps. That's because he's not Tyler. Tyler's usually the guy who gets all the who me and him always exchange the snaps together. But we're gonna work. We're gonna find a way to make it happen. That's a job to do it.
Lamar, not many times, since you've been with the Ravens, have you guys been kind of considered underdogs? Most of the time when you're playing, you're considered favorites. This week, because of the injuries, you're not favorites. Do you kind of relish the times when you are kind of considered underdog?
I love being an underdog. I really don't care to be hyped up or people just displaying like we on top of the league or anything like that. I'd rather be the underdog because we always got something to prove and we always got a chip on our shoulder to go out there and win a game.
Lamar, is there a sense of they have what you guys want with the division titles and kind of they're the hunted team at this point in terms of your guys' eyes?
To be honest, we just gotta go and focus in on the game at a time. Don't really care about where we're ranked right now. We're just trying to go in there and win. It's a division opponent.
The timeline that both you and JK had with your injuries a couple years ago. I mean, how tough is it to see him have to go through this again and know what he's facing, with another rehab like that?
It's tough, man. The game could be unfair sometimes. The timing was just terrible for him. I know how hard he's been working in the off season and how emotional he was before the game. To be finally back, all three of us healthy and ready to go. I feel for him. I checked up on him after the game. He's in good spirits. He's a tough guy, and I know he's gonna grind it out, and he trusts God's plan. So.
How do you feel, even with the loss of JK, how does this running game, how does it go forward now?
That's what we get paid to do. Next guy mentality. Everybody got a family to feed, so we got to step up and do that.
What what do you feel like you on Justice bring that's maybe different than what JK brings? Obviously, he's a great player, but you're all different and have your own unique skills.
We make plays. I guess I bring a physical aspect. Justice is more speed, agility guy. I'm excited for him too because I know he's primed to have a good year. He's been working his tail off too, so I'm excited for him to see what he does.
This is a rivalry with the Bengals. Do you feel like it's picked up a notch the last few years because of just how good you guys have been, how good they've become, and like how important the games have been for you guys?
It's important. They on our schedule every year more than once. I feel like we always playing them. We're ready for it. It's gonna be a physical game. Everybody's dialed in, and we know how big this is. It's early in the year, but it's a big game for us.
Gus, Ravens have lost the last 3 times at Cincinnati, but you didn't have Lamar in any of those games. How big is having Lamar going up to Cincinnati in this game?
Yeah, we lost a couple of times, but I feel like we played strong games. We was in those games till the very end, and with Lamar back, we got our leader back, and gonna be a lot of more big plays.
Because we saw you in training camp kind of on the schedule. Like, how fresh do you feel at this point in week 2 of the season?
I feel great. Practice has been good, going well for me. Haven't really been having no setbacks. I'm ready, honestly.
First game with the new offense. You feel like having that game will help work out some of the kinks in this game?
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of things that we have to work on. We hit those right on. Didn't dodge anything. Didn't try to be secretive about anything. We hit it right on. And we got to work right back to work on it and making sure that we fixed everything that we messed up.
Today Ronnie wasn't out there, Tyler at center wasn't out there. If those guys can't go, how big of a challenge, how big of a test is it to go into Cincinnati not having 2 of your starting offensive line?
Just like the running back room is next guy up mentality. I feel like the old line knows that too. They got to step up. These are the players are stepping in. I believe they've got some playing time with us too. They get a lot of practice reps. They'll be ready, and I have faith in them.
What's the, I know you said next man up a couple times, and with JK going down, for you personally, knowing the workload's about to increase and your importance in this offense, how much do you take it upon yourself to kind of think, look, I got to step up. Now's my time to lead.
I've always been preparing like I was going to get a lot of carries, so it's not really too much of a difference for me. Making sure that I'm conditioned and feeling good during practice, wearing myself out in practice so that way the game is easier for me, and I've already been doing that, so I should be straight.
The challenge for the secondary where you don't have Marlon and then you lose Marcus kind of in the midway through that game. What's kind of the challenge now with that secondary, not having 2 of your big players?
Yeah, I mean, those are 2 guys who it's hard to make up for. They're 2 of the best in our league, and you don't just come across guys like that very often. But I think we challenge ourselves every day, and our coaches harp on it in practice that everybody has to be ready to play. They preach if you're in there, you're a starter. So I think guys like Geno and Ronald Darby we brought in, Rob Yasin, Lamar salty because I took his spot at the podium. Yeah, I mean, everybody's ready to play at any point. So.
Kyle, much of the guys, yourself included, had mentioned how good the communication was and how much it improved since last year. Now seeing it in game action and seeing what you guys did on the field, how much do you feel like that was important, and how much further do you guys feel like you need to go with that?
Yeah, to your latter part, I think we can get a lot better with it, myself included. I feel like that was the first time the starters got live bullets. We've been playing preseason and stuff like that. Hitting people, taking hits in the game, you get a little more tired and it's a little harder to communicate. And there's those stressful times in games where maybe we get a call late or there's a communication error and safeties have to relay it through DBs who are coming back from covering a go-route, stuff like that. It's just little nuances of the game that will get ironed out. But I think we did a good job overall. Not really any busted plays or anything like that. No balls over our head last week, so just try to do more of the same.
Kyle, with 8 months of perspective, what did you take away from that last game in Cincinnati last year? Obviously, the disappointing ending, but especially on defense, you guys did a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, ending the last year, it was low-key mid. Obviously, we want to win a Super Bowl every year, and pretty mid result last year, but this year we're trying to make it a W. And you know, we played these guys 2 of our last 3 games. It's gonna be 3 out of the last 4. So getting familiar with them, and you know, they're a good team, and we're going in there with a good game plan and just gotta execute. We'll come out on top.
It felt like last year when you guys went against Burrow, you were able to contain. I mean, it wasn't like you went off in these big, huge games. When you go against Joe Burrow, what's kind of like, you know, one of the big keys for you?
Yeah, he's super disciplined in the way he plays. He takes what he can get, and the great ones do that. He's very good at knowing what you're in and what you're. If you're not holding your looks very well, he's gonna dice you up. So we gotta be disciplined in our looks and try to make it a little cloudy for him, not make a clear picture. But yeah, like you said, he's a great quarterback, and it's a big challenge for us, and they have weapons all over the field. So, but like I said earlier, I think we have the guys to do it and contain it, and hopefully go out there and get it done.
John, what's your approach as a player? Do you know, does the game, the playoff games that linger, does it drive you? Is it something that is like on your mind as you get ready to play these guys? Do you flush it? How do you think about that?
Yeah, playoff game was it's September, so what, 8 months ago? And obviously nothing we can do about that now. We got another opportunity, thankfully, coming up to right that wrong. And I think it's more for myself, be where your feet are kind of deal, and get better from what you messed up in the past. But you always have opportunity in front of you, just take advantage of it.
How are you going to, you know, this is your second year, but did you sense maybe those Bengals games last year was a little chippier than your average NFL game you play on Sunday? Do you feel like there's lingering kind of rivalry, bad blood there at all?
Yeah, I mean, and like I was saying earlier, it's be where your feet are, but at the same time, you gotta appreciate the past and understand the rivalry that goes into playing at Cincinnati and playing in the AFC North in general. All 4 teams are what I would say rivals, and there's a pretty gritty understanding within the whole division, and you got to be a certain kind of player to play on all 4 of these teams. So I think we take that mentality in every division game and every other game as well, but especially division games because they feel a little more like you got a little edge on your shoulder, chip on your shoulder going into there. And last year there were a couple of games that were pretty important. You know, the first game we played them last year was a week after the whole Lamar thing happened, and that was a little heavy going in there and just understanding what we're playing for and sacrifices that go into and how hard we play. And then the second game, going to the playoff game, obviously big implications on that. So this game 2 in the season, it's hard to look down the line and see the impact of it, but this is a pretty big game for us early in the year. It's a good test.
In circumstances, it jumps out that they didn't produce much. What does that mean when you go in to play them? Do you look at that? Does that mean anything?
I mean, we all take it into account. We study what happened to those guys. Of course, everyone's going to refer to the conditions and what they went through, but at the same time, you know that they're trying to bounce back. They're trying to make a statement and show that they are the same productive offense that they've been in the past year. So we got to approach it the same way. You know, they're trying to make a statement. We can't let it happen against us.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Kind of a different feeling, you know, so early in the season to have such a big game against a big opponent on the road. You know, kind of what all that encapsulates.
I think we treat every game as a big game, honestly. You know how we be, since I've been here, it's always scratching and clawing at the end of the season to get to the playoffs. So I think every game when we play is a big game, especially with guys like this around the game. It's a big game.
Patrick Lamar has played Cincinnati in a couple of years. There's that one game where you had mostly a practice squad elevations in the secondary. Do you kind of feel like they haven't gotten your best shot in recent years because of different scenarios?
I think every time you got 11 on the field, you want to play football, I think you got your best shot against people. So, you know, it's going to try to be a different story this time. We got Lamar out there, we got other guys out there this time. You know, we're just going to go out there and try to play our best game and get the win.
Do you think it'll be different now? Because last 2 games, the last 3 times up there since Lamar. I mean, how big of a difference with Lamar tonight?
Of course, it's a big difference. You got unanimous MVP up there, so it's definitely a big difference. But at the end of the day, our job is to go out there and get the stops, get them the ball back, let them go do their thing. So it's definitely a big difference.
Does it feel strange in the 3 of the last 4 games being these guys there? It just feels like you play them almost every week.
Yeah,
how it's going.
It's crazy. I think there's a lot of tell both ways. They know what we're doing. We know what they're doing. So like you said, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to playmakers making plays. So at the end of the day, those guys got playmakers, There's going to be a lot of shots taken. It's going to be a physical the game. We got to go out there and do what we do, control, and play ball.
You guys have done a really good job of containing Joe Burrow. What do you think is, like, not giving away secrets, but what do you think is a big key to containing him?
The thing with those guys, they want to take what you give them. Obviously, they're going to take their shots. They're going to try to get the ball downfield, but they're going to take what you give them. So I think when you're doing that, the defense got to score to the ball. You got to play fast. You got to play physical. You got to try to get the ball off your shots. And that's what it comes down to.
Do you talk to Joe or Lamar this week? Did you cut off communication with LSU guys?
I had called Joe maybe 2 weeks ago just to talk, see how he was feeling and stuff, check up on him and stuff. But I really, during the season, nobody really talks to anybody. It's just straight football. You're trying to focus on your job, and everybody got their own thing going on.
When you play in the back end, how significant is that relationship?
No, it's definitely a big factor. You know, you got to know each other, know how you play back there, know how to communicate with everyone, especially back seven, because you know, rushing checks and motions and stuff. You need to get on top of that. So, you know, communication is definitely a big part of that.
So last year, you got a lot of playing time last year when Marcus went down. So here you are again. Experience means what to you now as you're kind of stepping again?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, you know, just having that experience from last year, the year before that too, you know, just go out there and do my job. But this year I want to be more productive, you know, hopefully get more picks or whatever it is to help my team. But be in the right situation, like you said, communicate and make sure Kyle's in the same right spots. You know, it's his first full year playing safety, so be back there, make sure we all communicate and get right there.
And when you go to Cincinnati, everybody kind of knows what you have to face there. They're coming off a game that jumped out in how poorly they played. That means what to you as you go in to play them in their home field?
I mean, I know what type of team they are. You know, I mean, no matter what type of game they had last week, you know, it's the division foe. They're going to bring everything they got. I mean, I know how talented they are over there, so I can't take any team like that.
Every game matters. Every team is an opponent. But when it's Cincinnati, when you know who those receivers are, who that quarterback is, does that add a bit to the stakes and to your duties?
Yeah, a little bit, you know. I mean, you got to make sure you don't want to give them guys easy access and stuff like that. But at the same time, you want to treat everyone the same. But, you know, they got special guys over there, a special quarterback. You know, he got paid all the money for a reason. So, you know, we just want to make sure we're on the top of our game and do what we got to do.
You know, it's a new season, but you guys played really well defensively against them last year. How much do you draw on that, just from a confidence standpoint? You just said they're really talented, but that you guys can go and give them as tough a game as they'll see.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I remember the first game we had a really good game. You know, a couple hits here and there, but you know, the last 2 games, you know, I feel like we gave a little bit up. You know, they ended up winning the last 2 games, but this year, you know, we just got to make sure we blocking them all the small details and make sure we get it all right.
Thank you,
Geno.
Good.
Look good, man.
Just what are the thoughts going up against Cincinnati, a team you know well, and division rival? What are the thoughts going into this one?
Looking forward to it. You know, watch the game. You know, got a lot of great players over there, so respect the guys. But you know, come out game time, we'll be ready to go.
What did you sense kind of an edge in this game last year when you played them a couple times beyond maybe some of the other games you played during last season?
Honestly, there's an edge every game I play. So, you know, I'm trying to play to the best of my ability, play through the whistle every single play. That's what I pride myself on, and it's just the next opponent on the schedule.
Once you had a little time, were you able to take some good things away, especially from that last game? I mean, the defense played great overall. You certainly had a good game. I mean, were there things that was positive?
You know, we lost at the end of the day, so that's how you weigh things in this league of wins and losses, and we didn't get the job done. So this week, we're not worried about that. We really don't care too much about last year, if I'm being perfectly honest. This is a new year, new team, so we're excited to go out and showcase the world exactly who we are and how we're going to do things.
And you have Lamar. I mean, might seem like an obvious question, but how does that change things with Lamar against Cincinnati?
Oh, yeah, it's great. You know, for the offensive side of the ball, you know, it's always great having a guy like Lamar who can do such awesome things with the ball in his hand. But at the end of the day, I'm more focused on the defense and what we're going to do. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Everyone's had a bit of an approach. It seems like you're not one of the guys that uses the game from last year's motivations. It seems like you just kind of move forward. Is that correct?
Oh, like I'm not too worried about them, but like every game I play is personal. Every play I play is personal, so they're gonna get what they're gonna get, and that's just how I look at it. And that's any opponent each and every week. I'm gonna play the same and do fast, physical all game long. And if they don't like it, who cares?
Their offense really struggled in the opener against Cleveland. I mean, do you just sort of throw that out and say, well, we assume they'll be better against us, or I mean, do you look for specifics and say, maybe that's something we can play off of, or what do you make of that?
That was last week. It's a new week, and this is the NFL, so I'm sure they're going to be pissed off coming into the game. Based on their outing from last week, I don't think they scored a touchdown. And, so obviously they're going to try to come out and get some redemption, and we're going to be pissed off as well. So that's how we play, and we're looking forward to it.
Roqoun, you guys expressed your feelings for your teammates who were hurt in the last game. Now it's Wednesday. Can you talk about the shift that has to take place, and maybe did take place during practice as you move to the next game without some guys?
Yeah, it definitely sucks, having a lot of great guys go down and whatnot. But, the name of this game is next man up, and so we care for those guys, care deeply for those guys, but we got to go put it on our backs and go play for those guys. And we're going to go out and do everything we can and play to the best of our ability. And if we do that, good things will happen.
All right, thank you, Roqoun. We got